Jay here from Soberfellas, joining me today for a special podcast. We've got Steve from Steps Together and Alex from Claritee. Steve, we'll start with you. First of all, tell us a little bit about Steps Together.
So Steps Together, Jay, is a UK-based collection of private addiction rehabs, inpatient facilities and also outpatient services. So we do a lot around addiction, low-level mental health, stress, anxiety, burnout, those sorts of things. So we work with adults in the UK on a private basis to secure really good lasting recovery for whatever condition or issue they've got. Good
stuff. And Alex is from Claritee. Alex, tell us a little bit about Claritee and some of the events you do.
Yeah, so basically I'm in recovery myself. Coming up to 3 years clean and sober.
Well done.
And when I came into this space, I decided I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to try and change people's mindset, especially within the corporate world, because the corporate world has always been booze culture, the old English way of, you know, you have a good day, you drink, you have a bad day, you drink.
Yeah.
You know, and I am not telling anybody not to drink. I am all about balance, but I'm also trying to educate people in that there is other ways of looking after yourself. There is, you know, different options, that not necessarily going home and drinking a bottle of wine at night is the answer. You know, maybe going for a walk, going to the gym, maybe meditating, finding different things. And I guess we formed Claritee with a want and a wish to shine a light on different options and provide people with different choices. I would guess is the simplest way of looking at things. Yeah, it's been a journey so far, but it's an exciting journey. I'm excited for the next chapter, to be honest.
Yeah, most definitely. I've been to a Claritee event and it was good stuff. It was an hour.
You were on the panel.
We did a little bit of a chat, and there was a few different representatives there, wasn't there? From Ripple, from suicide prevention, and Josh, who's a superstar as well.
Superstar, yeah.
Absolutely. Not easy following Josh Connolly on a stage. Not the one you want to follow.
To be fair.
I was like just engrossed, and then he stopped talking, and then I thought, oh no, I've got to talk now. Oh no.
You would have been better following him after he did the 90-mile walk coming to Parliament.
Yeah.
I gave him a hug when he got to Parliament, and he looked like he was ready to collapse.
Yeah, well, it was great. It was a great event, and like my missus came with me, and just after that, she started following Josh, and she's always like, "Oh, have you seen what Josh has said?" And have you seen this latest post by Josh? He's absolutely great.
That's how it operates, because it all becomes a community.
Yeah.
You know, with me, Steve, you, everybody is a community, and whether it's Nakoa, whether it's Alcohol Change, whether it's Steps, whether it's Claritee, everybody is trying to do the same thing.
It's so true, because I spend a bit of time in hotel football, and one of the girls that works there is part of Nakoa.
Jess.
Yeah. And I didn't realise. We'd known each other for a little while, and then all of a sudden I was like, actually, all right,
we were at Jess's event in February. Weren't we? And you came and supported, and Steve basically sponsored something and did something. So it's like the whole family. All we're doing is becoming this growing family in wanting to help others and highlight, you know, good things in the world.
Yeah, most definitely. This is what we speak about, and from my work with Alcohol Change, at UK, I've spoken about it a lot of time about obviously going to events, having nights out sober. You know, it's a big sort of part of my life, because you get this sort of thing in your head, well, that's it, now I've stopped drinking, I'm not going to be able to go out, or, you know, it's sort of changed, because I'm like you, I'm a few years in, but that's not the case at all. Steve, tell us a little bit about the Shine Awards, because this is something you've been involved in, and I think when these awards first came about, they were the first type of these awards in the country.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. I mean, the Shine Award stands for Steps Heroes in Excellence. It's basically where Steps Together celebrates heroes in excellence, whatever that excellence topic is.
Yeah.
Shine Awards last year, 2024, very first ever UK corporate alcohol-free award ceremony and charity fundraiser for NACOA, the National Association of Children of Alcoholics. It came about because we decided corporately, we were 7 years old as a group, we were celebrating our birthday. Coincidentally, at the same time, our flagship luxury facility in Merseyside was 2 years old. It was celebrating its birthday. And we thought, do you know what, we need to really mark this occasion as an organisation. And what better than to celebrate the staff that work for us, who 60% of our staff are in active recovery themselves. And actually, let's celebrate the fact that our teams, because a bit like the family, our teams, our services and our clients, we consider ourselves one big family. And it was like, let's really do something for our staff. And colleagues sort of said, oh, let's do an award ceremony, and you know, you and Darren, the CEO and founder, can give out an award. board. And I said, that's really dull. That's really boring. And actually, we can do better than that. We can do better than that.
Yeah.
And also, we can be more responsible than that when we know that 60% of our workforce, most corporate award ceremonies involve booze, and a lot of booze. Nice food as well, but a lot of booze. And cheesy dancing. So we said, let's do something completely different. Let's really push the boat out. Let's make it an alcohol-free event. And that's how the seed of the idea came about. And through connection with Alex and Claritee and their sober events, it was kind of like, well, actually, here's an organisation that can really support Steps Together, plan this event, run this event, and make it a successful, an inclusive event for our staff, for those that don't drink. But actually, let's also raise some good money for NACOA. So that's how we set about. And so it was the UK's first ever alcohol-free corporate award ceremony. There have been other alcohol-free award ceremonies, but not corporate award ceremonies.
Yeah.
So we thought, that's it, that we've got it nailed. And, 280 people later, bit of a risky one, held in the Titanic Hotel in Liverpool, which has got a mark of disaster in the rum warehouse, which is ironic, on September the 11th.
Are you making this up?
No.
Right, okay, yeah. The omens aren't great there, are they? You're like, hang on a minute.
Held on September the 11th.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, okay, let's hope this isn't the fourth national disaster, really.
Yeah.
So, but actually, alcohol-free, again, the gut reaction from guests that we were inviting was, alcohol-free, it's going to... And actually, a lot of sponsors came, a lot of individuals came, some guys from NACOA came, some good names came, and it absolutely was a fantastic night. High energy, really high impact, and so many people came up towards the end of the night saying, we've never done that before. We've literally had a night to remember, and all sober, no alcohol. And of course, we celebrated all of our staff, which was fantastic for us. So
it's mad to think in 2024 that's the first corporate award ceremony that doesn't involve booze.
Yeah.
Like you think.
But
it would
that's
have
the
happened
old
before.
ways.
Yeah.
Remember. And this is where basically when I first set up Claritee, all of my friends looked at me as if I had four heads.
Yeah.
And they said, you won't do it. And I said, I will do it. I'm an addict. I will do it.
I
will do it.
That determination served you. I wouldn't say it served you well over the years, but it's took you to some places over the years. There's a certain trait there, isn't there?
All the time that I wasted using and drinking, I put into doing something good. I can do anything now.
Yeah.
I can do anything.
Because tell us a little bit about, this sort of obviously ties in very well together, the Claritee events and how, the sort of response as well when you're coming up with these ideas, and like you say, some people are sort of sceptical.
And to be fair, look, nobody likes stepping outside of their comfort zone.
No.
And everybody has got used to, over the years, having that drink or two for a bit of Dutch courage. Yeah. If you go into a social event, you go into a work event, everybody feels like they need that bit of Dutch courage. And that's the whole UK way has been. And it always was. And I take a step back now and you look at the Gen Z, between the 16 to 24-year-olds, 43% of them are not drinking.
That's a lot, isn't it? Because you think about it, when I was that sort of age bracket, 43, nowhere near that number.
Listen,
everyone drank.
Everyone drank. So you take a step back and you think, okay, in 20 years' time, what is the future of the country going to be? What is the future of the world going to be? And it's going to be a lot more balanced over people drinking, people not drinking, people basically. So it's almost, I guess, I've had the foresight to think, it's coming, it's going to happen. And putting your head above the parapet and being first to come and be brave enough to do it, that's been hard. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to deny and say it's been easy. It's been hard, but this is where the connections with Steve and Steps, the connections with NACOA, with Ripple, suicide prevention charity, with Alcohol Change, I've gone and basically made these connections and made a big family, along with all my corporate clients from old. It's not been easy, but the response, the feedback, the amount of smiles, the messages I've had post-events, it's amazing.
When you say it's not been easy, what are the sort of challenges you faced?
Well, listen, anybody who's been will openly admit I wasn't sure what to expect. I was really nervous. I was really skeptical about coming to an alcohol-free event. And then you look at the feedback afterwards, and it's like, that was amazing, so engaging, so upbeat, so high tempo. I felt great at the weekend for the kids. Can't believe I've never done this before, or been brave enough to step out the comfort zone and try it.
Yeah.
So it's weird, it's strange.
I And what's really interesting, Jay, I mean, only yesterday I was talking to a number of HR companies, and we work a lot with corporate businesses in terms of supporting them to support their staff, in terms of we provide services to corporate businesses all the time. Post-pandemic, there's been a lot of anxiety around a lot of people drinking more than was good for them during the pandemic. Those behaviours have carried on, now they're back in the workplace. And what was really interesting is the number of HR people, I was with a group yesterday who were saying, actually they're constantly picking up the pieces from alcohol-related work events, sexual assault claims, violence claims, where staff members have just had too much to drink and it's all got out of hand, and it's purely about the booze. We host events all the time as an organisation. The first thing any hotel will offer me is the drinks packages first before I can even choose the menu. And it's kind of like, but that's the culture.
Yeah,
that's the culture, and that's what the world's facing. So to suddenly say, actually, we're doing alcohol-free, everyone goes, what language are you talking? Yeah. And it's kind of like, the assumption's there straight away that it's going to be a rubbish night, and actually it's not.
Yeah, it's that old stigma of snowball, sober is boring. Yeah. And I guess I reflect, as we've been going for the last 2.5 years, the amount of options of 0.0 or 0.5 that are now available, the amount of amazing drinks. You're not going to an event and just having water anymore. You're not going to an event and just having to drink Cokes. Yeah. There's 0.0 beers, there's 0.0 fizz, there's every single option.
Mocktails or whatever, is a big one. Because I don't drink alcohol-free beer. This is the funny thing, I never liked to taste the beer. I used to drink it just to get drunk, but then it took me like 20 years to realise that, actually. I don't even like this. But mocktails is a good way of having a nice drink with alcohol in it, and you know what I mean, something different as well. Yeah. What's been the sort of response there now? Because I guess it's a double-edged sword. Once you've had a lot of success, you have to raise the bar a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, and we've raised the bar for 2025. We said, okay, we're going to do it again. This time it isn't going to be a celebration of our staff. What we recognise is, certainly working with corporate businesses across the UK like we do as Steps Together, what we've recognised is some really innovative health and wellbeing in the workforce initiatives taking place, where businesses are taking active responsibility for the health and wellbeing of their teams, their mental health, any addiction related issues, their physical health, their financial health, all the kind of 5 pillars of wellbeing really. And we're saying, actually, maybe now's the time to celebrate businesses with an award at an alcohol-free award ceremony. So it's actually a business award ceremony this year on October the 9th, which is the day before International World Mental Health Awareness Day. The topic of World Mental Health Awareness Day this year is wellbeing in the workplace.
Right.
So it's kind of like really timely that we set the date of our event, actually not planning. World Mental Health Awareness Day was the next day with this very topic. And it's like, let's shout about those businesses in the Northwest and around the UK and even beyond, who are doing some amazing things around not only the health and wellbeing for their workforce, but also the health and wellbeing in their communities and the wider family of their business. And that's what the awards are for. The nominations are already open. We're already at 79 awards. We've got 8 categories, 79 award nominations have come in already from businesses around the Northwest, and it's growing every day. And we've just today announced our sponsor opportunities as well. We've got a really good board of judges coming around the corner, and we've got some great guests coming, so we're out there now, we're ready.
You certainly are. Do you think it is shifting? Do you think the attitude towards sort of mental well-being in the workplace, people who don't want to drink and have that culture in the workplace, do you think it is shifting? Have you seen it changed over the recent years?
Yeah, I've seen it change, Jay. I mean, Alex would be the same. You know, when we talk to corporate businesses all the time, we talk to them about how we can support them in terms of their needs for their workforce, and all of the time business leaders are saying, actually, we've got a lot of staff that are, particularly post-pandemic, people are working twice as hard, having to reintegrate back in the office, where what we're actually seeing is that sort of coming out of people sideways, where they're anxious, they're stressed, they're burnt out. You know, we now run specific burnout programs for corporate clients, because just literally 2-day, 3-day soundbite retreats, just to give people that opportunity to step away from all of that in a very preventative way, because what people then do is develop an unhealthy relationship with things like drugs or alcohol or prescription medication. So we're saying, actually, let's prevent all of that. Let's just help somebody get balance in their life. And we're not saying that no one should ever not have, even the alcohol-free events. Our event's alcohol-free. Doesn't mean every event has to be alcohol-free. Yeah. It's just about balance and about inclusivity. And, we're not the kind of do-gooder sitting there going, you must not drink.
No, I get that. And, from my work with Alcohol Change UK, they do stuff like dry January. It's 1 month. They're not saying dry 2025.
Correct.
No. I don't drink, but that doesn't mean that they're saying everyone shouldn't drink. Or sober spring is the one that obviously recently. How much does sort of social media come into this? Because I notice it as well. We always sort of similar generations to myself. You see people now when they're out there on the phones, they're out there sharing stuff, and I think there is a bit more people are more conscious of the way they're being perceived as well, and sometimes alcohol can sort of play into that, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, social media, you know, you go back to 25 years ago, you know, there was no phones.
No.
So anything that went on a night out, nobody knew about.
Yeah.
There was no evidence,
Yeah.
you know, whereas these days, everything gets filmed.
Yeah.
If anybody sees anybody doing something that's a little bit out of the norm, straight away it's filmed, straight away it's filmed, it's posted, it's shared. So I think the younger generation, are a lot more mindful about their behaviours and about, you know, basically overstepping the line of drinking too much.
I think social media's also opened the dialogue around mental health and wellbeing as well.
I
Certainly
agree
during
with that,
COVID, definitely has almost opened that gateway for people to say, actually, it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to talk about it. And if you know, only have to look at Instagram, Facebook, any of the platforms, and almost on a daily basis, there's something on there about mental health and wellbeing. And I think social media it's great, it has its place, but it also has its downsides. And I think if you look at, Alex describes the Gen Z generation, we call them the younger generation, Alex.
I always get confused as to what Gen is, what's Gen X, what's Gen Z, what's millennial. I'll go with you. I'll go with you, Steve. Yeah, the younger generation.
Let's just go younger generation.
I'm always like,
I'm saying,
but definitely when you look at
argue.
You know, the younger generation are much more live and savvy, and actually more. I often think sometimes quite emotionally intelligent around some of the issues, and certainly in terms of alcohol consumption, much more intelligent about actually no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to want to do that. And I think social media's had a positive influence where you see a lot of, could be a good or a bad thing, a lot of body image. People need to go to the gym a lot more. People need to do physical exercise. They need to look right. They need to have the right clothes. They need to do that. And actually, alcohol doesn't fit with that. No. You know, you can wear the right clothes and have the right body image, but if you're bladdered, it ain't going to work.
No, I think that's a good point. I think younger people, they are more conscious of that, and it is a big thing, isn't it? You go on your phone and you're sharing your stories on Instagram or on Facebook.
I've got a friend who went to a university campus on a Friday night the other week to go and basically give a talk. And he said to me, phoned me up afterward and said, walked past the pub, the bar, dead, absolutely dead on a Friday night. And he said, then I went through the gym, absolutely rammed. And that is a university campus.
Uni's changed since I was there.
And to be fair, and that is the shift. That is the shift. So whatever it is, but I guess I want to flip back just for a second about what Steve said about, you know, trying to prevent and prevention. I got to the end of the road myself, like severely the end of the road, and I know how incredibly difficult it is once you get to the end of the road to be able to turn it round. And what I love about what Steve is doing now, he's basically looking to work with businesses, with companies, helping people for prevention, you know, before you get to the end of the world, before you get to the end of the road. And same as Alcohol Change, same as Nicoa, same as everybody else, because what it's about is, and this is why doing this company mental health awards night is so important, because if there is people out there that have found something that is truly working and helping people, then let's all know about it. Let's all know. You know, if this is something that is helping 500 people and there's 70 million of us that it could also help, let's find out about it. Let's shout about it. Let's shout about something good. If this is something that's helping 25 people and it could be helping 2.5 million people, then let's find out about it. So we can only do that by people nominating, by people, you know, getting behind what we're doing.
And also, what better for any business and any business leader to be able to position their business, to be able to say, actually, we're doing something really responsible around the well-being of our staff. We care as a business. That, you know, I know I would want to do business with a business that cares about their team.
Do you know what? It's a great point, because I remember when I worked in radio, I worked in a newsroom in radio, and people were sharing sort of stuff on Facebook. And some people had moved to different companies and they were like, oh, I'm much better looked after here, my mental health. And then you'd have people replying from their old job going, well, actually, we did look after you. And it was like, well, I didn't think I was. And they're having these little public arguments about, everyone. You know what I mean, on a public forum, on social media, about discussion. And I think more and more companies are thinking, actually, I've seen a little bit of that. And it's, you know, something we try and do myself. And, you know, the channel we run is like, as everyone being looked after, is everyone getting the support they want, because no matter what your job, it can be stressful. It can be, you know, we're living in a time when there is a lot of scrutiny and people feel under pressure. Social media comes into it, or just life in general. The pandemic wasn't that long ago.
No.
Well, you know, I forget we had a pandemic. Honestly, I know it sounds insane, but
I think I'm with you. I've gone past that point of I don't even remember it now.
Yeah, and
See, we're reminded of it every day because even though the pandemic ended, we're still seeing a tsunami of people that were affected by the pandemic that are now coming forward and saying we still need support, we need help, or I need addiction treatment, or I need to come into residential rehab. You know, we're still seeing that. It's like a tsunami for us. And I mean, we were inundated through the pandemic, and our client base totally changed overnight. We were no longer getting the Alexes of this world who were chaotic, crazy, alcoholic. What we're actually getting is people who were holding down a reasonably structured life, were functioning, whatever that means, in the workplace, and coming home at night and having 2 or 3 bottles of wine, and then getting up in the morning, get back in the car and go to do the school run, all those sorts of things. And actually that lockdown suddenly meant that all that structure disappeared. And so suddenly wine o'clock got earlier and earlier and earlier. The weather was good. Everyone was in the garden. Family were all at home. And suddenly people went, what am I doing? What am I doing? That's fine if you don't reach out for help then. But we got so many people coming to us that actually were working individuals who are saying, actually, now's a really good time for me to get a grip of this before it gets a grip of me, because I'm not in work, I can take the time away, I can sort my life out, and then when I go back to work, at least I know I've got the tools in my back pocket to be able to manage. But we're still seeing that tsunami of people now.
Tsunami, I didn't even realise sometimes.
But you think as well,
how many people it's still
the
affected.
people that have come through now, imagine all the younger kids that in another 10, 15 years' time, what impact it might have had on them.
Yeah.
Because they weren't in school, they weren't around all the friends, they were stuck in a house, some of them only childs, some of them with parents working all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what effect it's had on people.
No, I see that firsthand. I've got 3 kids, and we're still, sometimes you've got parents, even whatever, you chat and teach, and you're like, you must get a little reminder, they're still sort of coming to terms with that. Going back to the awards, has the response sort of shifted now, do you feel? Do you feel more people like, oh yeah, okay, bring it on, where you might have had a little bit like, corporate event with no beer. Come on, have a word with yourself. Are you seeing that sort of that shift?
Definitely. I mean, certainly people that attended last year, literally within about 2 months of attending, were saying, "Are you doing another one? Are you doing another one? Are you doing another one?" That response was golden for us, because it was just like, wow, these people really have enjoyed and had a great time. And we are still literally, a lot of people are contacted saying, "Can we come again? Can we come again to the 2025 one? We want to come again." Old sponsors coming back to us going, "We'd like to sponsor. We'd like to sponsor. Can we?" It's great. It's great because it's testament that actually it was a really good event, that we're not just kidding ourselves, that it was really good. We know it was good. It was high energy, it was fun, it was crystal, wasn't it?
And to be fair, I am describing this year's as almost, imagine the BAFTAs, but all alcohol free and all celebrating everybody who's doing good, great things in the mental health and trying to help other people.
If you were to describe like one of your events, obviously it's very similar, it ties into that, how would you describe it? Because someone asked me this like the other day, and I was like, it's like something I've never seen before. And I mean that in a positive way. I had a great time, and I was like, there's games going on, and there's this and there's this. And then people are just, generally the atmosphere is weird, because it's like you mentioned it, I think earlier, about Dutch courage and stuff like that, and it's like, but people are just like, because I think there's that sort of, you can relax a bit more, because everyone's on the same wavelength, so people are just a bit more.
Well, if you take a step back, you put 50 people in a room, you give them 10 drinks each. You've got no idea what you're going to get. No idea what you're going to get. Okay, you think back to when we were all kids. Okay, you put 100 of you in a school. Everyone gets on, everyone plays, everyone messes around, everyone has a good time. So it's almost, until you introduce alcohol and mind-altering substances, you can put big groups of people together and they'll have an amazing time. So it's like, but what we had to do, and what we always do, is we keep it a high tempo to let you not even notice that there's no alcohol, because it's basically will take you up and down, up and down, up and down, and before you know it, it's like, oh my god, that's 5-6 hours just gone. I've had an amazing time. I've not stopped. I've been engaging with this person. I've been doing this. I've been playing that game. I've been up on stage. I've done X, Y, and Z. Me, normally I'm on the dance floor, so Steve's normally laughing at me or videoing me, ready to post it on social media.
Rightly so.
And then everybody goes, oh my God, That was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure if there was some sort of clinical trial done on the people that were attending, there'd be some sort of endorphin release that actually makes you feel like you're drunk.
Yeah.
You can kind of almost feel that in the room where people have behaved in a way that they actually could have been drunk, but they're not. They're just high on the fact that the event is so... You've got a mixture of emotions that you're on that roller coaster with. You've got fun. You've got tears as well. I mean, listening to the Koa stories really tugs at your heart. And
it does massively.
But you need to take people through those emotions
like
throughout the night.
down,
So every activity is
yeah.
designed to actually just carry you like a wave through the night on a wave of emotions, quite frankly.
Yeah, it is.
So by the end of the night, you still go out on that absolute high going, I've had really good fun.
No,
and that's
it
what
was.
it's about.
It was really good.
And what you notice, Jay, you
Yeah.
notice is, because I've been to a couple of events recently that have been boozy, and as soon as anyone's speaking or trying to talk at the boozy events, you have everyone on the phone, you have everyone chatting on the table still, everyone, you know, it's almost, I always feel like sorry for whoever's on the panel, or because at our events, people actually sit, turn around and listen.
Yeah.
You know, and people are engaging, and people do engage, and people, it's weird because we've had different companies come, meet each other for the first time, and now doing business together.
Yeah. The networking is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be able to sort of meet like-minded people and some
Absolutely.
of the businesses involved as well. You're talking about some sort of hefty, you know, characters.
Oh, listen, we've got support this year and every year from some of the big, huge companies in the UK, some multinationals, and you know, it's growing. Our potential sponsor list this year is going through the roof of some real big names. I'm not allowed to say anything because obviously
We haven't announced it yet. I have to say,
we had an exclusive there on Soberfellas.
I always get in trouble. Literally, Steve was looking at me going, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!"
Where do you see this going then, Steve? Do you think this is just going to get bigger and bigger? Because obviously you've done one, now the next one, you've already raised the bar. Where do you see this sort of going?
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly
forward?
2025 we've raised the bar on the venue. We've gone
Yeah.
for a bigger venue. It's Aintree Racecourse this year. We are in quite hefty talks with the Jockey Club at the moment because, you know, as a treatment provider, we treat a lot of sports personalities in Steps Together. We understand the impact of alcohol and drug misuse within the sporting industry, and so we've decided this year that actually Aintree is a really good venue because, again, a bit ironic really, like last year's in the Rum Warehouse, in the Titanic Hotel. It's kind of like ironic because the assumption around Aintree Racecourse and around racecourses generally, it's gambling, it's alcohol fueled, it's alcohol related, and we're actually, between us and the Jockey Club, we're saying actually you can be a responsible venue.
You made a great point at the talk I said the other day. It's like you associate these events with the pictures in the paper of girls falling into bushes or whatever, or, which I hate, by the way. I think it's like such like snobbery from some of these sort of tabloids. It's like, look at these women falling over levered, and you think, really, okay, I get it. They're enjoying themselves. Shot. But there is that thing, and then you're sort of flipping it on its head a bit. Actually, this is where we're having this is where we're having our alcohol-free event.
Yeah, if anyone's going to end upside down in a hedge, it's probably Alex.
He has a
habit of tripping over his own feet.
I don't need alcohol.
But he does need alcohol to do that.
I don't need alcohol to get myself in trouble. We know that.
Yeah.
But it's good in it as well to sort of show that, look, it's not just about this. It's about you can have a top night out and a great awards ceremony and meet like-minded companies as well. The networking element.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, the ability on this night for businesses to do B2B business trade and, you know, network with each other, and also to learn from each other as well. You know, who's doing really innovative stuff around health and wellbeing in their business? Well, let's share it. Let's celebrate it and let's share it. And
do you know what? That's such the key point.
Let it grow.
A lot of businesses, in my own personal opinion, this is just my own personal opinion, tick the box and say, yeah, we do that. So, you know, and they're not quite sure. They don't know, you know, what is actually the staff need, what individuals need, and if there is people doing amazing stuff that is proven to be working and that we can all learn from, then let's shout about it.
No, I think that's a good point, because I think a lot of businesses, and I've got a little bit of experience on myself, they mean well, and they want to do well, but they don't know always the best way to go about it. So they might, you know, give you some literature, or there's that available if you want it, and people just go, oh, better not, or you feel a bit anxious, you feel a bit worried about taking advantage of it.
Steve and I both sit on the Pro Manchester Wellbeing Committee,
right? And
we had a debate the other day about the different generations, because if you're asking like a 65-year-old guy to download an app and use that as his mental health thing, he's going to look at you and go, not a chance. Yeah. You know, but then you've got, you know, an 18-year-old who might just want to use an app. You know, but then you've got people in the middle that are going, do I want an app? Do I not want an app? You know, do I want face-to-face? What do I want? You know, And
It's also about convincing business to understand the financial benefit of actually supporting wellbeing in the workplace. You know, days off sick, lost productivity, accidents, injuries. No one ever really thinks, actually, if we just invest over here in terms of supporting our staff's mental health and wellbeing, chances are we're going to be able to reduce cost over here. We know for anybody with a mental health issue in the workplace, it can cost an average of about £5,500 per person per year. So to a business, it's kind of like, but you'll often hear some business leaders that are thinking, nah, that's going to cost me money off my bottom line. I'd rather that money was on my bottom line. But actually the reality is you're losing that in a different way in the business anyway.
Yeah.
You're losing it through lost days at work. You're losing it through lost productivity. Actually, get a healthy, well workforce. You've got a great business.
Yeah, it's like you talk about prevention.
It's prevention.
Yeah, preventative, rather than waiting until someone is struggling and they've taken time off and then you've got to sort of, you know, deal with that. If you're sort of able to identify it and give people the support that they need, then obviously, just from a pure financial business sort of point of view,
I can only use my own journey, and I have very sadly, in the last 2.5 years, lost probably 10 friends to addiction, and they've left behind young kids, wives, mums and dads, families, and it's shit.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like banging my head against the wall at the end of the road. It's so hard at the end of the road. But what Steve's doing, what we're doing as a collective, is trying to help prevent. You know, you can't cure, you can't fix it at the end, okay? But what you can do is you can make a difference as people are going along. And where do you spend the most time?
Work.
At work.
Yeah.
And where do you spend the most time? You know, so if we can help people to learn, if we can help people to make a difference at work, if we can help people to, you know, do a couple of things differently that will actually make a difference, then come on, let's all get behind each other and do it.
And people talk about that, don't they? People spread that message. Oh, I work for this company, they'll really look after me.
Yeah.
I work here, I deal with this business and all the stuff they're doing around looking after the workforce. Mental wellbeing is amazing. It matters.
It matters, Jay. And if you look at most of the HR studies around how staff perceive what they actually get from their employer, the top answer is not about pay.
No.
It's about how they feel in the workplace and how they feel valued. Pay comes much further down the scale. There isn't a single HR study in the land that doesn't tell you that.
Really?
It says a lot.
It does say a lot. Just before I let you go, tell us just finally about the event then, the awards ceremony. People can get involved, whether that's a business. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, really simple, Jay. It's the 9th of October. It's in the evening. It's night time. You can drive there. You can drive back because you won't be drinking. It's alcohol free. It will be at Aintree Racecourse in Aintree in Liverpool. The website is there. You can nominate.
We'll put a link in the description, by the way, so that people can click on the website.
Yeah, go on the Shine website. Just simply, you can nominate your business. You can nominate an individual. You can sponsor an award, or you can just book a table. Come and join the party. Come and have fun. And literally the next day, you'll remember it.
There you go. There's a first. Second, I should say. A corporate events awards ceremony where everyone remembers what happened the night before.
Second UK first.
It's been great chatting to you guys again. Thanks a lot, Steve. Thanks a lot, Alex. There's a link in the description for the events, a link in the description for Steps Together and for Claritee as well. So make sure you go and check out the great work these guys are doing. That's been Steve. That's been Alex. I've been Jay. This has been Soberfellas. Thanks for watching.